German states or Bundesländer of Germany explained. That's what we're going to be getting into today. Before I knew a thing about Germany, I just knew this typical stuff that people would identify Germany as being as. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know anything about like the Bundesländer or states of Germany and stuff like that and how significant they were and the kind of the shuffle of what they became. So,
we are working on the scripts for the next few country episodes, which means this is going to have to be.
And also, we go live on twitch.tv. /James Bregging almost every day. So go ahead and follow us over there.
Heavily requested.
And join our
this
Discord
one is going to be on the states or Bundesländer of Germany. Germany is a powerhouse nation. Obviously, it is the largest economy in Europe, and it holds a significant role of geopolitical activity that links an entire continent. As you'll soon find out, each state in Germany is pretty unique and diverse in their own way. They each kind of have their own specialty, and some have unique dialects. Before we get into this, though, I just want to let you know that one of my favorite sponsors is working with us once again, Cetera. For those of you that don't know, Cetera is a geography game website. Yeah, pretty appropriate for this channel, don't you think?
Solid.
You can download it on iOS.
It's basically like GeoGuessr.
OS or Android, or you can just go to the website here and play it online. You can choose your own region. You can test yourself on things like physical landscapes, capitals. You can even custom create your own game. And get this, they actually made a Geography Now game that you can play. It covers the countries we've done so far on this channel.
Cool.
Yeah, they made one. And not only that, but speaking of Germany, it comes in over 30 different languages, including German. I totally recommend you check them out. I've played this game. It's great. It's worth it. Thank you, Cetera, for sponsoring Geography Now. All right, and so with that being said, let's just jump into the 16 Bundesländer of Germany. First one, Baden-Württemberg, capital Stuttgart. This is like the other southern state besides Bavaria.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to ask about this because I keep hearing of Baden-Württemberg and you guys, and I guess, I'm not sure if Kanosi's from there or Unsympathisch TV, but you guys were telling me about Baden-Württemberg, and I know a lot of you guys are actually from there too. Not, yeah, I'd say a good portion of you guys. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's right next to Bavaria. Is it similar in atmosphere? Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah. It was formed by the joining of 3 other former states. It's kind of like the luxury car state. You know, they have the headquarters of Mercedes-Benz and Porsche. Lots of manufacturing going down here. It's very busy. They're also known for having the Black Forest, where all those fairy tales were inspired off of.
Oh. See, I never made that connection. I somehow thought the Black Forest was in Bavaria, dude. My geography skills are terrible. I'm gonna bring back the GeoGuessr series on the channel and stuff like that, and refamiliarize myself with the layout. Still haven't been to Germany, but eventually it'll happen. It'll happen at some point.
Which also plays into the unique Swabian culture that they're known for down here. Swabians have possibly the weirdest dialect in all of Germany. A lot of Germans can't even understand them.
I've heard this. I've definitely heard this, and it is hilarious. They're like, well, at least, it's like, bro, like your German's probably just as good as like Swabian Deutsch. I'm like, bro, or Schwäbisch Deutsch. And I'm like, oh, fuck, like nobody can understand what I'm saying. At least in the beginning, you know what I mean? Because it's not even that I had an accent. It's just I didn't know how to phrase things or word things. And I had like a really bad, harsh American accent. Schwäbisch Deutsch is just like a totally different dialect. It's almost like Cajun English, you know?
And it incorporates a lot of weird, unique festivals. A lot of times they wear these costumes based off of the fairy tales that came from here. Switzerland is like their best friend. They really just kind of get each other. A lot of Swiss people come over and travel to this area of Germany. And they're known for being really smart with their money and handling it very well, which also kind of means a lot of people think they're kind of stingy. That's like the stereotype. Geography Jessica says, it is a sacrilege to throw stuff out, even if it's a broken TV or something. Bavaria, or Bayern, capital Munich. This is the largest state in size and the second largest in terms of population.
That is basically Germany's Texas.
It's kind of like the home of all those, perpetuated German stereotypes that became famous through American culture. Lederhosen, dirndls, those big 1-liter jugs of beer, half timber houses, stuff like that. Reason being because after World War II, this place was occupied by the Americans, and whatever they saw, they just kind of put in media. They're kind of like the most independent out of all the German states. I mean, they even had their own king at one point. He went crazy and drowned himself.
What? I didn't know that. King Ludwig the second.
Or
That's
like a
crazy.
Catholic background, and Austria is kind of like their conjoined twin. Like they get along really well with Austria. Beautiful mountains here. In fact, the tallest mountain in all of Germany, Zugspitze, is found here as well.
That's cool.
And no shocker, they are really, really, really known for beer. There's like over 4,000 breweries here. The oldest
cool.
one in all of Germany is also found here. And you know, all Germans kind of have their own opinions on Bavaria. Otto von Bismarck even once said, "The Bavarian is the link between human and Austrian."
It is funny, man. What I notice, even with a lot of new people, hopping into, learning about Germany and stuff like that, whenever they give like their initial perspective on Germany, it typically is the elements of Bavaria. And it's funny because a lot of Germans will be like, bro, Bavaria is not Deutschland. Like it's not, bro. It's its own thing. It's like, imagine if, people from Germany said that like Texas is America, right? Well, it is I guess that's like a really strong dose and potence of what America represents, I guess, but that's not really America. You got to look at other states. I'd say you look at your three biggest cities, combine them together, and then mix a little bit of some big southern cities. So take Texas and combine that with Chicago, New York, California, and that's America.
Berlin, also the capital of Germany, is not only the largest city in Germany, but it's also one of the 3 city-states, as in cities that are considered states. Now, when I asked a lot of you German geography peeps to describe Berlin, a lot of you, even from Berlin, kind of said something along the lines of, why do we even have this city?
It's like eccentric as hell now, man. It's super eccentric. And also it has like a bunch of different, it's like a huge cultural explosion over there, man. Like Berlin is like a void, bro. It's a void of like, it's not your typical Germany, bro. You go to Berlin and you're like, wow, what is this new land? It is like Narnia over here.
In 2003, former Mayor Klaus Wowereit described Berlin as poor but sexy. It's pretty much the only capital city in all of Europe that costs more than it earns. As in, the entire country's GDP could be higher if Berlin didn't exist. And it's like you either love it or hate it. Geography Mara says it's like the city where Germans go to find themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So I did see a YouTuber, and I'm gonna try to find the video because it was a beautiful video, bro. Like, but this American YouTuber traveled to Berlin. He went there for like a film type program or something like that. But it was beautiful. Like he showed a side of Berlin I've never seen before, and so everybody was really like laid back, chill. It's like the land of the hipsters, pretty much. Like there's a bunch of hipsters and stuff like that from all over the world and stuff like that, and everyone's trying to find themselves and get in their artistic bag. It's pretty cool, man.
Starving artists, aspiring EDM and techno musicians trying to make a point while unemployed.
Yes,
no, but seriously,
exactly.
the city
Basically
does have some cool sites.
Also, a lot of YouTubers over there too. YouTubers from other countries. Now I'm not sure about German YouTubers, but I know for a fact there are a lot of YouTubers from other countries that are in Berlin, bro. Like they just like the vibe and everything. So I'm like, seems to be on my radar too.
Colorful art scene. What's weird though is you can still kind of see the distinction between East and West Berlin because it was split after the war.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a weird place where capitalism and communism coalesce in one location.
Damn.
I mean, I guess Berlin is kind of like the rebel punk rock teenager who locks himself in his room because
literally that is a very good explanation, because like if you look at the rest of Germany, right, and then you throw Berlin in there, you're like, something don't seem right. Something seem a little off. This don't seem like your typical Deutschland. Also, I'm not sure if this is accurate at all. I'm going to throw this out there and you guys can challenge me because I don't know nothing about nothing. Listen, I feel like Berlin is probably like, that probably is the most English speaking part of Germany. Now, here's why I say that, right? I've never been to Germany, I've just been reacting to videos for 3+ years. But from the people that I know that have been over there and from the videos that I've seen, it seems like all of the expats that travel to Germany, a lot of them go to Berlin, right? And they all talk about how they don't have to learn German. They can just speak English and get by like very well. Like they don't have to speak a lick of German at all. There's been people that have lived there 12, 13 years, not a single ounce of German. Maybe Hallo, Bia, and some other whatever, right? But that's it. Like you don't have to learn German out there. And I remember there was a video by Easy German, right? And they were talking about that exact culture out there in Berlin. They're like, hey, do you like, how do you feel about the new wave of people moving into Germany and stuff like that? Like, do people speak English more here, or do they speak German more? And the locals were saying that they hear a lot more people speaking English, and like it's kind of saddening a little bit that the people who only speak English don't even attempt to learn German, because I mean, you are in someone else's country, so at least try. You know what I mean? At least try. So yeah, if that's an accurate statement, let me know in the comments down below. I probably ruffled some feathers a little bit, but hey, that's why we here, right?
His parents just don't understand him. Brandenburg, capital
Brandenburg.
Geography Jakob says, people joke that this state is the dead zone that surrounds Berlin.
Wow.
Berlin has more people than the entire state of Brandenburg. This is the first of the 5 states that make the former East Germany before the unification. It's kind of known as like the slow to get things done state.
Wow. Brandenburg,
as in their airport was always supposed to be done this year.
Damn. So it's multiple airports that went through this. I thought it was just one, really, but multiple airports went through this long, drawn-out process of being built. I'm starting to see a trend here, Deutschland. What the fuck going
but they
on?
always say that like every year, and it's been like 10 years. Let's see, lots of former Prussian history here. Lots of cool stuff to see here, though, like the Roman Baths or the Cottbus Castle, the Anderhavel City Museum. They actually have like these cool medieval walls from the 14th century. One of the most notable sites being the Palace of Sanssouci. Lots of Eastern Europeans live here, especially Polish. I mean, they are on the border with Poland. They're kind of like the sidekick of Berlin that like tags along and wants to join his punk rock band, I guess you could say. Bremen. This is actually another city-state. However, it's more of like 2. It's broken up into Bremen and Bremerhaven.
Yeah, bro, I've noticed that, and I'm like, I'm confused. What's the difference?
This is the smallest and least populated state in all of Germany at only about 660,000 people. Back in the day, it was labeled as a free Hanseatic city back when the Hanseatic League was a thing. That's a whole other thing we could talk about.
Hanseatic League. Well, I'm going to have to write that down because that seems interesting.
Lots of marine culture here. Actually, people who want to become sailors come to Bremen and Bremerhaven. Beck's beer comes from here, as well as chocolate beer, both of which many Germans hate.
Chocolate beer. Chocolate beer. I've had a beer that was brewed like that in America, and it was like a chocolate kind of beer. I didn't hate it because it was a dark beer. I prefer dark beer, right? But chocolate beer might taste like dirt. I don't know.
Let's see, what else do they have? They have the Bremer Stadtmusikanten statue. They have the only microgravity tower in Europe where you can experience 9 seconds of weightlessness.
What? See, I didn't know that. We got to look more into that. See, I'm glad I checked this out. There's a lot of things my brain's been expanded to now. So I gotta have a few video ideas I might start cranking out here. So.
8 mummified bodies in glass coffins, and a memorial block in the street dedicated to a female serial killer. Charming. But yeah.
Wait a minute. Female serial killer. Pause. Go back.
In Europe, where you can experience 9 seconds of weightlessness, 8 mummified bodies in glass coffins, and a...
Gesche Margareta Gottfried? Gesche Margareta. Oh, Gesche Margareta Gottfried. Her decapitated head rolled here. Bro, what? I gotta, hold on. I gotta, I'm taking a picture of this because I gotta, do some research on this topic. That seems insane.
A memorial block in the street dedicated to a female serial killer. Charming. But yeah, Bremen is just kind of like this unique, quaint, yet always kind of competing with Hamburg state. Which brings us to Hamburg. Hamburg is the last of the 3 city-states, and it is pretty much the richest state in all of Germany.
Wow. Wow. As of 2019, I guess. But would it be Munich now? Because I keep hearing about Munich, bro.
You gotta love these guys because people from Hamburg are called Hamburgers. Sometimes they're called the Venice of the North Sea because they have all these neighborhoods that are separated by canals.
That is beautiful.
Bridges.
That is beautiful. Imagine living in one of the apartments over here, bro. That to me would be a gigantic W.
Like Bremen and Bremerhaven, they have a harbor built on the Elbe River, which gives them access to the sea, and they have a huge maritime culture, even though they are technically not on the sea. And they are getting quite a bit of attention these days because Hamburg is kind of like the IT capital of Germany right now. A lot of you have also mentioned that they have have the most famous red light district.
Reeperbahn. You know, we got to check that out when we get out there, man. Eventually, one of these years, probably when I'm 30. I don't know when I'll be out there in Germany, bro, but eventually I will be.
In all of Germany. The adult-themed Reeperbahn. I did not know that. Lots of cool sights you can see here, though. Oh, and they love fish here. Kind of like the techie rich guy who loves his fish. Next up, Hesse, or Hessen, capital Wiesbaden. Much of today's Hesse state belonged to the former Hessen Duchy back in the day. It was an independent state all the way up until 1871. And they are most famous for Frankfurt. It has more skyscrapers than any other city, and it has the busiest airport in all of Germany as well.
Oh, wow.
And it is kind of like the business hub of Germany.
Wow. I mean, damn. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because I'm like, bro.
It's home to so many corporate banks and financial institutions. Also home to the German Stock Exchange.
Yeah, I'm like, Frankfurt is like the capital of all that stuff or whatever and whatnot. And I didn't know that it was part of Hessen.
Goethe, one of the most important writers in Germany.
Goethe, bro. There's memes about this shit all over the place. Like, a lot of the Deutsch memes that I see have like at least one Goethe like reference and stuff, you know? It's hilarious. I'm like, bro, it's like an inside joke. Like, everybody out there has to at least have read this shit like once, you know what I'm saying? Like,
German history is from Frankfurt. Well, they love apples, especially drinking it in various ways. They love apple cider. There's even a fountain that shoots apple wine at you. But yeah,
what? Oh my God. They're going to have people out there looking like Riley Reid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hessen is kind of like it's like the financial management brother of the family. Lower Saxony, capital Hanover. It's the second largest state in terms of area, and it's called Lower Saxony because of the elevation, not because of the geographic location on the map.
I was always confused about that. Lower Saxony. I thought when y'all said Lower Saxony, I was confused because I'm like, oh, the way I was thinking of it, right, is almost like how we have North and South Carolina separated. We have North Carolina, which is, go figure, north. We got South Carolina, which is, go figure, south. So I thought that Lower Saxony would have been on the lower portion of the map, but its elevation is in fact just lower. I like, what? Wow. Different, very different.
Keep that in mind. This state gets along very well with the Netherlands. This state kind of has like two cultures, the Plain Saxons and the Frisians, whom are related to the Frisians in the Netherlands. It's kind of like the country farmland area of Germany. They host a lot of fairs like the World Fair Expo in 2000. However, interestingly enough, you can also hear quite a bit of Plattdeutsch spoken here as well, which is the dialect that the Amish speak in the...
Oh, we were just talking about the Amish in America. I might do a video on that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the Americas. It's also the headquarters of Volkswagen, and they also have Wolfsburg, which is the city with the highest GDP per capita in the entire country. It's like the richest city. Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, capital Schwerin. This is actually the poorest state in Germany, and it is the second former East Germany state. As the name implies, Vorpommern, it was part of the former area known as Pomerania, which, yes, that's where the Pomeranian dog comes.
Oh, really? That's so cute. It's so cute.
From. Some people joke that it should be called Mecklenburg-Vorpommern because it has a lot of Polish influence. It's right next to Poland. They even share and split this island with them called Usedom. It is very rural and sparsely populated. It has a lot of farmers and old people. In fact, it is disputably the oldest state in all of Germany. Wow. Tons of lakes here though. The largest lake completely within Germany is actually found here as well. They also have the largest island in all of Germany. Beautiful beaches, cool places with like chalk cliffs. But yeah, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. It's kind of like the old angry grandpa that yells at the kids for running on his lawn.
Stop it.
North Rhineland-Westphalia. Capital Düsseldorf. This is like the big daddy of Germany. It's the most populated with about 17 million. It's the powerhouse industrial capital of Germany. Much of its economy was built off of coal mining in the beginning, and today they have more companies and factories than anywhere else in Germany. People here have a deep-rooted Catholic culture. They love celebrating Carnival. The two biggest cities, Düsseldorf and Cologne, are always like competing with each other.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I've heard good things about both. I heard Düsseldorf is like real bougie though. Cologne is kind of like slightly less bougie, but also very very fancy as well. But yeah,
there's really cool Frank Gehry architecture in Dusseldorf. Cologne has the Cologne Cathedral, obviously.
And Cologne Cathedral, is it done? Because it looked like it's always under construction, bro. Like it looked like it's always under construction.
Cologne is kind of like the media capital of Germany. Much of the major studios can be found here. But yeah, overall, this state is kind of like the partying dad of Germany. Rhineland-Palatinate, capital Mainz. This is kind of like the younger brother of Rhineland-Westphalia, except they love wine. Like it's often argued that the best German wine can be found in this state. There's a lot of historical sites and castles, especially ones that date back to the days when France was always like invading and taking over. They also have the last bastion of Roman presence north of the Alps in the town of Trier. It's also the birthplace of Karl Marx. They are known for liverwurst. It's kind of like the loyal sidekick of Rhineland-Westphalia. Saarland, capital Saarbrücken.
Bro, all y'all gotta know about Saarland is it's basically Alabama, bro. It's basically Alabama. It's Germany's version of Alabama, bro. That's
Besides
all you
the
gotta know.
city-states, it is the smallest state in area. Basically, the people here are like Frenchy Germans. The area was occupied by France after World War II, and they were actually their own independent state all the way up until 1957 when they decided to go back to Germany, which explains why the people here are really good at speaking French. Geography Fiona says
that like image of them holding the white flags is like very hilarious.
They are like the long lost uncle that you don't know how you're related to and speaks French. The most notable site though probably being the Völklingen Ironworks. It's a massive rusting steel plant that is now a UNESCO heritage site. Today it holds a museum, science center, and an auditorium for concerts. I wouldn't be surprised if heavy metal concerts were a big thing here. I'm just saying. Saxony, capital Dresden. This is the third former East European state. Geography Thorsten explains it pretty well when he says the Saxons are one of the oldest German tribes, with having a lot of political influence in the early times of the Holy Roman Empire, and with some of them even creating something of what we now know today as England, hence why many British people say that they're Anglo-Saxon, and why the English language is classified as a Germanic language. It kind of started here. Interesting, right?
That's actually wild.
This place is kind of known for having two things: great universities and very right-wing
views in Dresden. Oh my God, look at that. Damn. I heard some things about Dresden, but y'all have seen what I've said about Dresden in some previous videos, man. So y'all can go ahead and look at what my opinion was.
In politics. They get along really well with Czechia / the Czech Republic, whatever you like calling it. They have a minority group called the Sorbians, a Slavic people group, kind of related to the Czechs, and it's actually a language that is protected by the German government. Nonetheless, though, I've been told that the people here are really super nice. They have like that East German hospitality. It's just, you know, they're different from the rest of Germany, especially Lower Saxony. Like the two Saxonies have nothing to do with each other. Saxony-Anhalt, capital Magdeburg. This is the fourth former East German state. It's often said that they call themselves the state that wakes up earlier. This is basically kind of like Saxony's chiller.
Oh, hold on. My headset kind of unplugged itself. That's kind of crazy. I gotta get a better headset setup, you know?
Little sister. It's also the birthplace of Martin Luther, who started the Protestant Reformation. Baroque composer Handel was born here. It is home to the Bauhaus movement, and they love Christmas here. They have a huge Christmas market and produce a lot of nutcrackers. When I was told they are home to the mountain of Brocken, which on April 30th becomes the site of the Walpurgisnacht.
Walpurgisnacht? Walpurgisnacht.
A night of dancing with witches based off of the story by Goethe. Schleswig-Holstein, capital Kiel, named after the two duchies that worked together for centuries. It is the only bi-coastal state in Germany with coasts along the North Sea and the Baltic. And it's basically like the Denmark of Germany. There's a lot of Danish people here, Danish-speaking people here, and it's actually a protected, recognized language. You can greet people here by saying moin moin. And the cool
moin moin, yo. Moin moin, meine aktiven Freunde.
Thing is, on the North Sea coastline on the west side, they have the largest cohesive tidal flats in the world. A natural World Heritage site. Twice a day the tide recedes, exposing a massive mud flat. Of course, no surprise, fishing and sailing are huge out here. They actually have a huge sailing competition every year. Yeah, the people here are kind of known for being like tall, animal herding people that are really quiet, like they don't talk much. And finally, Thuringia or
Thuringia Kluse. Oh, my bad.
Thuringen, capital Erfurt, the last and final state of former East Germany. This place is probably most famous for the city of Weimar. As Geography Thorsten says, it is the home of Johann Wolfgang Goethe and Friedrich von Schiller. Their works in the so-called Sturm and Drang era was so influential that it was manifested in a saying about Germany. Germany is the country of poets and thinkers. They were kind of like the Shakespeares of Germany back in the day. Much of their writing actually influenced a lot of words and phrases for modern German that is spoken today. The composer Bach was born here. You can see his house. And interesting, they have a lot of caves here as well, like these. And they're known for having really good food here as well. They have like these potato dumpling things, and all Germans love Thuringian style bratwurst. They're famous for it. So there you go. Those are the 16 states of Germany.
That's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what did you think? I learned a lot, and I want to look up that serial killer, because that seems like that'd be a very interesting topic. What do you think? Let me know.